Hi everyone, it's Brenda Wilson here. I hope that you can hear me. I'm just waiting for my screen to come up. Oh, it looks like we're here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to see how this is going. I am back for another live stream. I used to do quite a few, paused for a couple years for sure, and then I most recently did a live stream on Saturday for my mom Alice Wilson's celebration of life for the eulogy that I did, as well as the toast. And at that time, I had indicated that we had in the um, venue, which was over at Tailgators Pool Hall, a slideshow, a couple of slideshows going on, two. One was longer version and one was shorter version, and that I would upload them to YouTube. So that is what I'm here to do today. Just before we get started with me streaming that, which I hope goes okay. If not, I'll delete this and do another one. But I wanted to show you that I have a few things here in my room that you can see, and I wanted to talk to you first about a couple on the work surface, just so you have a sense of some of the articles that we had around at Mum's celebration of life. First, we had a gardenia theme. Gardenias were my mom's favorite flower. They were in her wedding bouquet. We had floating candles. We had, as you'll see in the background, silk gardenia flowers. They're not in season right now. We had gardenia note cards that everyone could sign, and we've attached those to a wreath in the back. And I'm going to be going through also all my emails and messages and other things to make sure I've recorded everyone who has shared their love and support with us as we go through this, and even before my mom passed, with her as she was, and with us as she was going through some struggles with her health. And anyway, the other things that I'm just going to point out here is she was a big lover of antiques, which I totally forgot to talk about in my eulogy, but these are not the ones she had growing up, but some irons. There also here is a cowbell, and the significance of that cowbell is we did live for a couple of months one summer at a farm, not her original place where she grew up, but at a farm down the road from it, and it had a barn, and my uncle had told me that the barn there, her and their dad had actually like their dad had built, and this cowbell actually came from that barn, so it has even more significance to me now that I know that it was actually my grandfather that had built it. These are some of Mom's what am I talking about? Hairdressing scissors, some Jenga, and cards. So those are some of the things that we had around with us. And in the back, I'm just going to step over to the side to show you a little bit some of the things, but that is some of the photos that we had around. These are a few books that I'll talk about about you later, and that is the wreath, as I was saying. And I am now going to, if this works, try to switch it over to the, let me see if I can get that. I just want this, and then I'll press play. Fingers crossed. Okay, I think it's going. Yes. So this is Mom and me golfing. Oops, we don't want this thing on it, I don't think. Recording. Will that go away? How am I going to get this away? How do we get that out of the way? Well, we'll just put it down there. There we go. All right. Yes. Oh my goodness. There's Stefan and Mom and the pie, lemon meringue pie that she baked. Mom cutting Stefan's hair when he was young. She did that often for all the grandchildren. That is in the December before my dad passed away, in the March. This is up in Killarney, one of our family's favorite places, with my mom. Came with us one year. Another photo of her cutting her grandchildren's hair. Here's Stefan, Mum, the ever sports fan, and it was really nice to have her there. All of us up at the cottage. We used to go all the time to celebrate her birthday, which is the 20th of June. There she is in our basement at our cottage playing ping pong and out riding the pedal boat, happy as always. There she is on her iPad. She loved playing slots, games, and communicating with her family through email and looking at pictures. And there's her with my brother on one of her birthdays at my sister's place. That was taken, my favorite recent photo of her. That recent one was taken in November, just the past year. There's her wedding photo. They were, yeah, almost 50 years married before she was widowed. My husband scanned those and used the software to colorize them. Those are them with my in-laws, Kurt and Poldy. My mom in her beauty salon in Hagersville in 1953. There she is. I don't know the year, but that is their original house, which eventually burnt down when my youngest uncle was 16. And that is, that was, I think, Di's wedding. That was my mom and dad's 45th anniversary. There, look at how mom mastered Jenga. Tall, tall tower, hardly any blocks left. Mom with my son Stefan and his girlfriend Georgia playing pool. There's Heidi playing with Grandma Jenga. There she is coloring up a storm. That was a great activity for us to do because she couldn't talk anymore, right? And here she is doing some solitaire kind of on her own and also a bit guided with us sometimes with our brother Kevin, just hanging out at his place. And there's Diane for a visit in the COVID years. There's Diane's wedding photo, and that contains a picture of my Granny Wilson, my dad's mom, and there's her with Diane on her wedding day. And there is a picture of her when she was, I don't know, probably in her 20s sometime. There's playing golf when they lived in Arnprior with my nephew Blair, with Diane's in-laws, Doreen and Stan. There's cutting Peter's hair. What's that with Blair? He was also a big hockey fan. And another one at the cottage with Blair. She liked nothing better than to hang out with her family and to see them all together there. She was at my cousin Bobby's wedding dancing with Dave, playing pool in COVID when we finally got to go back in with her. Yeah, and that is all of that. So I am going to now change this back over to me, and I'm going to put it down to, let's see, this view actually, the main work surface, because I want to show you a few other photos while I've got you captive here. These are some photos. There's mom and dad with some of her friends. They always hung out a lot together at a wedding or something. Mom with a friend when she was young. Here she is in that bathing suit that I referenced. This is on my Aunt Dorothy's front porch. Goodness, how am I going to do this? Can I do it? There she was, getting some beauty sleep. Here they are, some just hanging out, and with a whole bunch of us as kids. Don't know if that's coming out. This isn't working so well. So you know what I'm going to do? That one, I'm just going to end with one, and I'm going to figure out how to get these scanned in for the next time, because I'm going to do another video for the long one. But I wanted to kind of end with this here, which is a picture of her and all of her brothers and sisters. I guess her mom isn't in that one like she was in the other one that was in the slideshow. But anyway, this is a really fun one that I think I'll try to get it scanned in and maybe labeled, which would be really fun for the longer version of the slideshow. Oops, I'm going to take this way and put it back to me. But I did want to, and just with a few words, I have this book here that cousin Diane put together that her aunts had started, and it's the Wilson family history. And in here is some wedding notes for Howard Wilson and Alice Chaput, and I thought it'd be very nice for me to read that as the ending of this slideshow. So, St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, Hagersville, was the setting for the marriage of Alice Lena, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. J.E. Chaput, Chapeau, Quebec, and Howard James Wilson, son of Mr. and Mrs. Robert B. Wilson of Hagersville. The double ring ceremony was performed by Reverend J. L. Burgess. The guest singers were Mrs. Erla Jane and Janet Short, with Mrs. Glenn Green on the organ. Given in marriage by her brother-in-law, Alvin Ryan, the bride wore a bouffant gown of white embroidered with tulle over silk taffeta with pleated scallops off the shoulder neckline with the long-sleeved buttoned bodice. A pearl-trimmed headdress held her shoulder veil, and she carried a bouquet of white gardenias and stephanotis. Miss Lorraine Chaput, bridesmaid for her sister, wore a gown of mauve nylon net with French lace bolero and feather headdress. Her flowers were yellow carnations. Mr. Donald Wilson of Port Rowan was his brother's best man. That's my uncle. The ushers were Mr. George Diamond of Brantford. That's my Aunt Jean's husband. And William Fenwick of Toronto. That's my Aunt Dorothy's husband. The reception was followed in the church basement. For going away, the bride wore a blue suit with pink and navy accessories and a corsage of pink roses. After a wedding trip to New York and Quebec, the couple will take up residence in Hagersville. So there we go. That was their wedding. And I hope you enjoyed the slideshow and these few extra little bit of narration that I did on it. And why don't I just put this up here as I end. That is the picture that goes along, well, you see a little bit of reflection, sorry about that, of my parents on their wedding day. Thanks for watching. Bye. I have to stop and stream. Bye-bye. Thanks. Stay tuned for the next one.